In this video, we're going to go over 3.5, which is about credit cards. Let's start off with credit card vocabulary. This section has a lot of vocabulary. Impulse buying. Impulse buying is a consumer purchase suddenly without prior intention of buying. The reason that this is in this section is that the book states that when you have a credit card, it is more likely for you to do impulse buying since you have access to more funds than you would normally have. A revolving charge account. A revolving charge account is the credit cards that you think of when you think of credit cards. You can use it to purchase things over the month, and you don't necessarily have to pay it off at the end of the month. The amount rolls over from month to month, so it does not need to be paid in full each month. The average daily balance. This is the average of the amounts owed each day. So credit cards are not compounded daily. What they do is they take the average balance over the entire month or billing cycle of the credit card, and they determine the interest based on that average daily balance. And we'll talk about this a little bit more and calculate that as a weighted average. Credit card vocabulary again, Schumer's box. We've talked about Schumer's box in the last sections regarding credit. The reason we talked about it is because the APR can vary depending on your credit worthiness. This box lives on usually the back of your credit card statement. It gives you all the information about all the percentages associated with your card, as well as any penalties or fees. If you'd like to pause this, you can see how this is explained based on this graphic of all the things that are highlighted in the respective colors. Credit card. Again, the credit card is the one that you're normally used to hearing. This is a plastic card that allows for purchases that are paid later. Another type of card is called a charge card. A charge card is similar to the traditional American Express card. The American Express card has a white outside and green on the inside. It is like a credit card, except all balances are due by the end of the month. That means that you're not going to be able to use your card for the next billing cycle unless you paid off the amount from the previous billing cycle. Charge cards usually have a monthly or annual fee. Debit card. A debit card is attached to an account that already has money in it, and therefore it is not based on credit, it is based on the amount of money that you have access to in that account. This slide is about all the legal acts that were created for credit cards and things like that to make sure that you are safe from larger companies taking advantage of the individual. The Truth in Lending Act protects you if your card is lost or stolen. The textbook states that if your card is lost or stolen, all the charges that occur prior to you saying it's lost or stolen are your responsibility. All the charges that are incurred after you report it lost or stolen will not be your responsibility. I have never had a credit card or heard of anyone who had a credit card that even though the charge happened prior to you stating it was lost or stolen, that the credit card company didn't credit you for it. Usually this is done to be nice to you. The nicer a credit card company is, the more likely you're going to continue to use that company for not only credit, but whatever other financial options that the company has. Maybe like buying a house or having a retirement account. Fair Credit Billing Act. This protects you from statement errors. So you will be receiving a credit or a billing statement that will also have Schumer's box and a lot of other information on it. And if there's any errors that you can see or find, you can dispute them with your credit card company. Fair Debt Collection Practices Acts. This protects you against harassing or unfair debt collection practices. So this prevents them from like showing up at your job or something along those lines that are considered harassing or unfair. The Electronic Funds Transfer Act prevents against unauthorized use of a debit card. This one has to do specifically with debit cards, whereas most of these are solely based on your credit card. Let's do some examples. These are not very mathematically intensive examples, but we got to put some math in here some way. Credit card companies issue a monthly statement. Therefore, APR must be converted to a monthly percentage rate. So if my APR is 21.6% annually, then in order to get the monthly percentage rate, I would divide by 12. And that's going to give me 1.8%. So this is my monthly percentage rate, or my monthly interest rate. In example 2, we're going to talk about Rebecca. She did not pay last month's credit card bill in full. Below is a list of Rebecca's daily balances for her last billing cycle. What is her average daily balance? This is an example of what's called a weighted, or calculating a weighted average. And it makes sense. Now, what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't do 456.11 plus 456.11 plus 456.11 7 times, since it's over 7 days, because that doesn't really make any sense. It's going to take me a long time to write it down. I guess it does sort of make sense. But instead of doing it that way, I'm just going to write 456.11 times 7. I am weighing 456.11 7 times. I'll do that again for 3. I'll do it for 6. As you can see, 6. 99008. I'll do it for 9. I will do it for 5. And then what that will give me is the total, or the sum of all of the daily values that I would have. That gives me a total of $43,248.05. Of course, this is not any money that I had charged. You see, those are way smaller than that. This is just the sum of those daily values. And then I have to determine how many days I had. Remember, average is where we add all the values, add the values. So we had a total values there, and we divide it by the number of days we're talking about. So here's the days. And so I find out that there's 30 days in my list here, which makes sense because it's a month. And so I'm going to divide that by 30. And that is going to give me an average daily balance of $1,441.60, or my average daily balance. This is the value that they're going to use to determine my interest. Now for 3, we're going to talk about Rebecca again. From example 2, Rebecca pays a finance charge on her average daily balance of $1,441.60. Her APR is 18%. Now, make sure you're aware what that means. What is her finance charge for this billing cycle? Well, we're not going to do 18% because that's annual. We want to know how much it is for the billing cycle, which is monthly. So if it's monthly, I would determine my monthly interest rate, which is 18% divided by 12. That's going to give me 1.5%. And I'm going to take that value and multiply it by this. Now remember, if this is monthly and this is a percent, I would change it to 0.015 because I never multiply by that percent. And that is going to give me $21.62. And that is my finance charge. That's how much I'm going to be charged that month for using my card. And that's it for this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know.